Here's what I've got for you today. We're going to be changing the suspension coils on my Mercedes SL 350. I'm going to take the dampers apart. I've got a cracked coil on one side, so I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to put some nice Eibachs on, which give it a 30mm drop as well. So let's get through this, and first time I've done it, and you know, let's see if it helps anybody else out there that wants to do the same thing.
Let's move on, cause it's time to move on.
Here are the springs. Let's have a look. There we go. Here's your Eibachs. I've actually had Eibachs before on an Audi, and they have a nice progressive coil. Progressive means that you give a nice soft ride where normal day driving, but then if you go over a firmer bit of ground, i.e. there's further travel, then the coil is tighter together, so it will progressively firm up, so it doesn't bottom out, in other words. And here they are. This is the front one. Actually, if you look at the bottom of the coil, it gets slightly narrow, it tapers, and on my car currently I actually have a snap coil. I've taken the bits off, I've cut them off, and I've lost half a turn of this coil here. So if you were to sort of measure that just roughly, I'm probably looking at about a 30mm drop. So my intention is, I know it sits okay on one side, but it's lower by 30mm on the other. Let's just lower the whole car by 30mm and see how we go. Alright, let's get the springs off the car. I just realised as I've taken this off here that underneath here I've got a worn knuckle arm. This is the trap rod end, goes to the steering, and if I give the movement, I give the wheel a move, you can see that play there. So this needs to be replaced. Here's one I bought earlier. So this little fella is going to sit here like that. What I'm going to do, if you ever do change the trap rod end, it's a very good idea to get the car aligned afterwards, but also to save you a little bit of guesswork and time, I like to mark exactly where the end of that is there, and then when I undo this, I'm going to count the number of turns, put it back on. So long as the length from here to here is the same, we should be near enough there, but I still recommend getting alignment done. Fraction of a mil out will make all the difference, and you'll get wear on your tyres. Okay, so I've used a ball joint splitter, one of these, to remove and separate where the ball joint goes into this arm here. You probably end up ripping the rubber when you do it, but then you're putting a new one on, so it doesn't really matter. So tip, before you remove this completely, now unlock this nut here, which is the lock nut, otherwise this will move around on you. So unlock that, so that's loose now. I've marked it as well, and now because we've already loosened this will just tap out with a hammer. There we are. And now just count the turns. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you lock up this lock nut. I'm going to let this go out a fraction, because I think that was the position before where I had it, and this was in the upright position, but when I put the new one on, I'm now sitting here. So in order to get this back, I'm going to tighten up this nut here slightly, just half a turn. I still would get a wheel alignment as well. Okay, I tightened this nut before you tighten that nut fully, so get this one on now. Want me to clean that? If you're lucky, this won't spin on you. Push this in the top. There's a little hex key, stop it spinning. Then use an open-ended spanner. Now snug this one up. Let's have a test. There you go, nice and tight. Okay, it's a 21mm socket on the end of this damper. $13mm. Suspension. A couple of spring clamps to take the old one off. I've got a feeling that this actually might be what's making my car squeak, so I'm going to put a little bit of grease behind it if I can get it out. It's just a rubber spacer. It certainly sounds like the squeak that I have on the car. Right, there we go. So I'm going to put a bit of grease on this, copper grease. Should stop the squeak. So, tighten this up first. Right, now check to make sure the spring's engaged in the pad, which it is, and now we can take these clamps off. All done. Not bad. Not bad at all. You can see this where it sits inside the cushion there. And then at the bottom here as well, nicely up against its end stop. So let's get it back on the car and see what it looks like. It's got to go that way. So can you turn it? Yeah, that's what to turn it. Yeah, that is what's right there.
to move on.